Dior called me to do the campaign Chateau de Versailles with her. I had a job, I had to leave the job to go to Versailles. I arrived at Versailles and there was like trailers everywhere. So I meet the agent, the publicist, they say, okay, she's waiting for you to start the makeup for this commercial. But the problem is she's tired and she's sleeping. So you have to start the makeup when she's sleeping.
Wait, what?
Yeah. But they insisted and she insisted. So, okay, I said to the team of Rihanna, I say, no, I'm not going to do it. And I was leaving.
Yeah.
And then 2 seconds after, I said to myself, I think you're doing a big mistake. So I went back to them and say, okay, I will start the makeup when she's sleeping. The trailer. And she was sleeping, laying down, on the sofa in the trailer. So I did one side of the face. And at that point, she turned the face in her sleep so I could do the other part. And then she wakes up. And I said to her, do you mind if we go to the trailers? I can fix the whole thing before we start shooting. No problem. And I said to her, are you testing me? And she looked at myself with a tiny corner smile. She was testing me. And then the next day, she showed me my whole career. She knew everything I've done from day one in her computer.
Oh my
And from
God.
that moment, you went on trusting things, but I think she was playing games, but intelligent. I almost missed the opportunity because I was leaving. It was acting moment, cinema.
It's cinema. This is Going Rogue, and I'm Jill Demling. Today's guest is Stéphane Marais, the legendary makeup artist who's been creating beauty and intrigue for over 3 decades. From Marlene Dietrich inspired editorials to transforming supermodels into icons, Stéphane sees each face as a story waiting to be told. With his brush, every cover becomes a masterpiece and every face becomes art. Let's listen as Stéphane Marais goes rogue. And be sure to check out our Instagram, goingrogue.podcast, to see the images we discussed today. I'm so excited to see you.
Have a girly conversation.
Yes. Hi.
It's not to see your face.
It's been forever, and I've been hounding you. I'm like, he has got to be the first makeup person.
You know what? When they say to me it was you, I say, oh yeah, because it's fun. After
Yeah. Oh, exactly. And your story is interesting. I've gone down these rabbit holes, and I now know so much about so many people. It's so funny.
You are like a very dangerous person with so many information about everybody, but not all of them.
Oh my God. I mean, I'm not a professional, as you know.
Hey, I'm good with brushes, I guess.
I don't know what I'm good with. Wrangling people, manipulation.
Manipulation, you're not bad. I have to say, I know you, but in a good way.
In a good way.
To get to the point. That's it.
Exactly. That's what I always say. I use my power for good, not evil. Okay, so let's start. Hi, Stéphane. I am absolutely thrilled to have you on Going Rogue today. You are such a legend in the makeup world, a true artist who has been creating characters, not just beauty looks, for over 3 decades. Your work's 4 decades.
Almost. I'm getting there.
Well, I thought we didn't want to age you here, so I was saying 3.
I
But
don't care about that. It's fine. It's just physically, I'm not I'm not prepared for that. So
right. So your work spans from the golden age of supermodels with Linda Evangelista to modern icons like Rihanna, and your collaboration with photographers like Peter Lindbergh has produced some of the most iconic images in fashion history. But through all my research on you, what I found particularly fascinating, and especially for me, is the influence of cinema on your work. So before we get into how it all started, I wanted to talk about this because you've expressed that cinema is a huge source of inspiration for your work, mentioning influences from Fritz Lang's Metropolis, Cabaret, Blade Runner, and the smoky black and white films. You've said, when I look for beauty inspiration, I go to the movies, and that your goal with every face is to create a character, whether it's a seductive woman, an intriguing one, or a disturbing figure. You also mentioned nothing is permanent with makeup if you decide to play with it, accept it, and love the idea of revealing a different side of yourself. My question is it recreating specific characters? Like I'm thinking Winona Ryder, Beetlejuice, Johnny Depp, Edward Scissorhands, Malcolm in Clockwork Orange with the one under,
And for eyelashes and everything.
yes, like how does the inspiration turn into a makeup look? That's what I'm curious about.
So inspiration, I guess it's my life background, like, as we're gonna maybe talk about it,
Yeah.
is, I grew up the way I was raised, and the thing is, I was like intrigued, not obsessed, but intrigued to be moved by images, by film, by cinema at a very young age. I was living in the countryside before. I was living in Africa, but when I came back, my early teenage in France, I could have like TV, go to cinema and everything, and I discover things I never seen before. And it was like an inspiration. It was like moving me so much that I was so fascinated. But from that, I think this is all my background. It's like you have a library of things you have seen who moves you. So it's in your mind. And when you go to work, this is in your mind. This is your archive. This is your library. This is everything. But I never wanted to reproduce exactly the same. Just
Right.
go with the person I'm dealing with, the actors, the model, and everything, and kind of adapt it to her and make it like a transition to my inspiration or an icon that I love into her who's playing herself into that role.
Can
Because
you think of a specific example where maybe it was the mood of a film, or when I did look at those Winona Ryder Beetlejuice, you could see it was just like a faint, smudgy black eyeliner when you really looked at it, but it was a
uh,
vibe.
this is the word I use. I love smudge
Yep.
makeup. I love that's all the basis of my kind of like signature, like
Hmm.
smudgy black eyes. Fingers, my hands, they're big. My fingers are big. I
Right.
love to smudge in a rough way so you can still at the end feel the skin of the person you're working on. So the person, it's not only an image, it's the person became somebody real for me. Into the
Yes.
look that you create. You can see the life through her skins, through her smudge makeup. You can feel the light on it, and
Yeah, her. You're not painting it.
no,
You're the smudge. That makes so much sense. I can
and also
totally.
because my job is to touch people.
Right.
I can have a lot of things. I can feel the person. They can also feel me. Like when they're a bit nervous or they don't really agree, they don't know me or whatever. My presence is physically, it's like the way I am, have big shoulders, so I'm like I can handle any situation, but I never get hungry or obsessive or hysterical. But my fingers are firm. So
Right.
somebody who's like, oh, I don't know if I want to work with him or whatever, press the finger on the skin and it changed the whole thing. You
It's
know,
so funny because doing these interviews, I'm seeing some things that are similar in everyone. Like when Orlando talks about the confidence, right? Of
exactly. That
working, it's the hands, no shaky
it's
hands, but it's with
it's
intention, right?
and the way you just project yourselves. When you arrive and they feel you're very stable, always a smile, never aggressivity or competition or fights. Then you can get somewhere in an easy way and they will love it for that because you trust them, they trust you. And at the end, it's about trust between people, When you have to work with a new face or even people, for years and depend on the mood or my mood, but never show a point of fight or aggressivity. Never.
Right. And you're very close to their face. So even just the sensitivity of that area,
Yeah.
I'm touching my own face right now, which no one listening will be able to see. I can see what you're
You
saying.
could be moved by just a touching feeling, reassured by touching feelings, saying, oh, maybe I think I'm in a good place with this person. And that's the key for me. Because it's a sensitive like job I'm doing because I'm touching faces. It's very intimate. You don't know the person, you will not accept to be touched by somebody you don't know.
No, exactly. And with your hands, especially, it's not the distance of a brush, right?
Oh, no. It's everything. Like, it's important for me.
I can totally understand that. So, because we touched on the smudge, I did have a question later, but I think it's more appropriate now. Your signature use of black makeup has become legendary. You say, I love black. It is my main and favorite color in makeup. It just mesmerizes your eyes, made them stronger, deeper, more hypnotic, more seductive, and gives you a real power. It's a killer color.
I would say if I go and I start all over again, my makeup case, I will only have some cream for the skin, a black pencil, a good one, and my finger. That's it. Because you
Wow.
can do a minimum, a leftover the day after. That's what I did for years. You maybe don't see the black, but there's always like a residue, a leftover of the makeup for last night.
Yes.
No. But there's something brings your eyes like some sexiness, like to die. You can kill
Yeah.
somebody with the eyes like that, even with a trace of a leftover of makeup in black. Or you can do like the night before something very strong who really surprise people in front of you, who hypnotize you. Play, mostly of the actresses and models, they play with the makeup, which is the key for me. I do the makeup, and then this is your tools, and look at yourself in the mirror and see what you can do with that. And that's your turn. And
So if you only needed to work on one part of someone's face, it's
Mhm.
obviously the eyes for you, that you could just do eyes and
Yeah, for me, the base is like that, I have to say, I have two obsessions in my life, and I started with that. My signature is black eyes and big eyebrow. I've passion of eye on eyebrow. My really teenage when I was obsessed with somebody was Brooke Shields eyebrows.
oh.
And so this is still in me. And it's funny because I worked with her like years ago with Annie. I was an ad for milk, that campaign?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody did it. And I was so proud to do it myself. There's few campaigns like iconic in America that I did. The Ming Company and the Got Milk. And I did it with the Brooke Shield. And I
Wow.
was so happy to meet her. Even years later, still a beautiful woman.
Did you tell her that you were always obsessed with her?
Oh, of course I did. And I
Yeah.
tell the truth. I'm very like straight to the point. So she was like kind of, I don't know, come this French guy, like I was younger, but knows me and is obsessed with my beauty. So, yes, I did. I don't shut my mouth.
No, but
Very
I mean, I would
spontaneous.
love a makeup artist to tell me that when they're about to work on me, that they like think I'm.
She was in the 80s. So I came to Paris in the 80s and I started doing makeup in the
Yeah.
80s. So, yeah, she was
Wow.
one of my obsession. And Margot Hemingway, too. Those
Right.
eyebrows, who was a signature.
Yeah. I know I'm not getting to the beginning, but just because all the work we did together was obviously with celebrities and then having this fascination with cinema and characters. I mean, it was 2003 when I was booking 11 out of 12 covers, I think, of
Yeah.
celebrity. So it was a quick change between
Hmm.
2001 and 2003. So were you excited about that, or was it more about having a beautiful face that you could change into a character versus starting with a character face?
It was exciting I was also nervous because when you work with celebrities, they have so much like habits and they have their own team. They
Right.
used to have the same people for her. They feel confident with them. And then here we come, and the French guy comes, and he's makeup artist. Maybe they did the research, they know I was not that bad. But still, you have the goal to show them that you with them. And that's the thing, to feel them trusting you. It's a psychological work, but as I told
Exactly.
you, I'm very stable. I am a nice guy. I have the reputation, sometimes not, but that there's a trust to already arrive like pretty quickly. And also maybe the way I touch people.
Right.
You know, you can feel a person when he touch you, say, oh, this one, I like it, or you
It's
hate
the
it.
energy.
Because
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
personal, you know, having your face touched, it's very personal.
Yeah. It was so funny talking to Tani. And when I realized, like, it was either 2003 or 2004 that I booked all 12 covers and she styled 11 of them. It was wild. But at least at that beginning, because it was so new, it was a big deal for celebrities to get a cover of Vogue. So they were not about to say, I need to use my team. That was not even an option. So at least those first few years, they were getting the Vogue treatment.
Yeah, and
And
it was also Anna's presence and everything in Vogue.
right, exactly.
Let's put it that way. It's like getting a Vogue cover for celebrities is something, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to get into your editorial work because that's what we're going to focus on. You have a lot more work, obviously, especially doing shows in your relationships with designers, but this is a real magazine focused
Yeah.
podcast. So I want to get to that. And I know through all of my research on you, you've talked about the beginnings so many times. I just figured it's almost even easier for me to just read what you've said.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you said, I was born and raised in San Malo, Brittany. At the age of 18, a counselor advised me to study economics. I wanted so badly to move to Paris, so I searched for marketing courses in the capital. It lasted a month and a half. All my friends were in more artistic schools, and they opened my eyes to the fact that I had to change and get a new direction for my future. I had to embrace something more artistic due to my sensibility and my passion for aesthetic. I loved museums, cinema, and photography, and the aesthetic in it. Even fashion was something attractive to me. They told me I should try something in makeup. I didn't even know that makeup schools existed. Finding the course somehow old fashioned compared to images I liked, I left after 3 months. I went to magazines asking for a job, but no one hired me. Luckily enough, one of my close friends was scouted in a cafe. I met her agent, Marilyn Gauthier, and asked her to do the makeup for her and get some test photographs for free. That's how I got my book in 1981. My first photo shoot with Peter Limburg, makeup artist Jacques Clement,
Yeah.
could not finish a
Very
shoot.
important person. He was the king of makeup in France, in Paris.
Oh, wow. He could not finish a shoot for Mary Claire. And then the fashion editor, Betty Bertrand, was looking for someone to replace him. I was very nervous, but I did it. A month later, Peter told me he was preparing a big story around Marlene Dietrich. That must have been a dream with your
Yeah, for
movie.
German Vogue, the
Yeah,
whole issue.
exactly. And he asked, can you do it? Although I was petrified, I accepted the challenge. It was a huge success. Okay, so that's where I just want to leave it so I can ask you some questions about the beginning. So, like so many of my guests, you had an early interest, fascination, obsession, even with glamour, beauty, something that one can only see in a dream, on the screen or in a magazine. You have said ever since childhood, you'd been fascinated by the beauty and glamour of photographs and fashion magazines, museums, cinema. So, we talked a bit about it, but what do you think it was about those visual worlds that drew you in? Because when I talked to Grace, for her, it was so different than what she was seeing living on an island off Wales. What she was seeing in the magazines was a place that hadn't even come into her imagination yet. So, was it a similar thing for you?
It was kind of it because I was living in a countryside and my background, like living in Africa. But my mom, it's always about the mom.
Right.
She collecting magazines, at the time, and I was looking at the pictures, and I was like, in a way, my childhood fascinating by that. So it was beautiful and everything. There was another thing. My great aunt, like the aunt of my mom, was also coming from the countryside, and she always married rich people. You see, in
I love
families,
that. I need to meet her.
and she was going to Paris, and she was living a really nice life with her husband and everything. Rich by accident. But, and when I was like visiting her, she had a house next to us, like in Brittany. She had archives in the Atkins. And she had all these dresses from Jacques Fat. She was dressing and only in couture in Jacques Fat. She
Oh
was
my
going
God.
and I was just a country boy, like teenager country boy. And it was like fascinating by the dresses and everything. It looked a bit stupid and casual when you see your story, like you saw all those dresses. And it was fascinating for me as a young boy, you know?
Oh yeah.
And so she was very picky and she always looked good hairdo, good nails and everything. And she was a country girl before. So it was an opening to another world, another option in life. But I was not obsessed with luxury. I was obsessed with beauty, with aesthetic,
Right.
everything. Like I could see the dress. I didn't know anything about fashion, about dresses, but for me, they were looking beautiful.
Right. No, that makes total sense. You get a
It's
feeling
a
when you
little
see
piece of my
beauty.
life, but
Yeah.
they're part of my life in a way, my history of life. And I think I was maybe claiming really like to see something more beautiful and aesthetic and makeup. I discovered that through the TV when I was like really teenager, not in Africa. When I came back to France in the countryside, we had TV and everything. So I was seeing like old movies because there was a lot of like series or movie theater was showing all this beauty, like iconic film, and it was fascinating for me.
Wow. And
Even
it's
being a
yeah.
really country boy, like who have no clue, has a bicycle, the motorbike, and everything, going to school, but it was intriguing and fascinating me. So I get this appetite for that.
No, it's so interesting because I'm also finding that it awakens something inside of artists, seeing beauty or what's out there. And it's almost like you can't get away from it. It will follow you and
Yeah,
it will drag you back. You either get that support from your family or your parents to pursue some sort of artistic career, or you don't. But if you don't, it will find you and drag you back to where you
exactly, because
belong.
you don't have any conscious of that plus. It's there,
Yes.
but besides that, you have a normal life of like a young boy with friends and the countryside, bought a new bicycle and everything, going to the beach and everything. So it was not in my village, like, it was bullshit.
Right. But so I wanted to ask you then, so you see this thing awakening inside of you, but yet you still go to school to study economics. Was there a conversation about a potential career in the arts at some point? Was it pressure from your parents to?
No, no, because in my history, I lost my father when I came back from Africa. Like, I was 12.
Wow.
So I was very close to my mom. I took care of my mom at 12 and being like the man in charge in the house. But you know what? Nobody really talked to me about that or everything. I really discovered when I came to Paris because it was a big change. I decided to leave the countryside. And also, my parents was only my mom. She didn't study, okay, you should do that in school. She had to deal with her loss and everything.
Right.
And I say, I have to escape and go to Paris. And I passed my exam, was good at school. So I get my degrees with a mention, good. So the school decided, the education decided for me, they were based on my results. Okay, you have to follow economy. Because
Oh,
like everybody knows, like 99% of the kids, they don't know what they want to do in the future.
of
Only
course.
them know they want to be a doctor or a vet or whatever. And they just follow the whole procedure. Not me. So my result drive me to have to go on economy. So I say, okay. I didn't have a clue. I didn't have the feeling I wanted to do artistic. And then I moved to Paris and go to this university in Paris. And of course, after not even 3 weeks, awful vision of myself on the computer, triple glasses, triple volume, bold, like a freak in front of a computer with big bubbly eyes, you know?
Well, you're very visual, so I'm not surprised
No, but
you had
really, it's
that.
very important for me because this vision appears to me and I got scared.
Oh
So I
my
went to
God.
the one in charge in my field and I say, they choose for me, but I just realized now it's not for me. But I need to have the scholarship because my mom didn't have money for that. I lost my father and everything, but I don't want to be dramatic. But I say, okay, you come to my course, psychology, twice a week, and then you can keep your scholarship. So that's what I did. And the day after, I meet so many new people, new friends in Paris. So we're going out every night without
Mm.
money, living in how we say a chambre de bonne, very cheap. But you can get to clubs for free because you were nice, you were like well educated, good behavior, and cute. And
Yep.
it helped.
Yep, I've done that.
One little thing was funny. I was living in a chambre de bonne in Saint Germain. So our meeting point was the Café de Flore, but Café de Flore was very expensive for kids like us. So because we're nice and good behavior, the owner of Café de Flore let us stay the whole afternoon at Café de Flore with only one coffee. We couldn't afford two coffee
Wow.
because there was a lot of people who liked us, we're cute, we're like fresh for them. Oh, so that's why. And then I went to club and club every night, the Palace, the biggest club in Paris, because you could get in for free because it was on the face. They wanted to have like a mix of
Right.
celebrities, fame, and young, cute kids around, you know? So that was easy.
And then how did makeup come into play? Someone suggests to you you should do makeup, but were you even doing
Somebody special.
right?
Like
But were you
I get
doing
close
makeup
when I was.
on them at all? Like,
No, I didn't do. It's just between them, when I arrived to Paris, I have like a new crowd of like front. And one I was closer to said to me, you know what? I think you should try something more creative because you are. I can feel you are more artistic. You want to create things. And you love beauty, you love images, you love photography, you love cinema. So why don't you try makeup? I say, but how do I do? I say, you should try to find a makeup school to at least have a sense of it and say if you like it or not. And I found this school in Paris was like in the 80s, Christian Chauveau. I went back to countryside to work in a bar as a bartender and everything to get some money to pay the fees. So I came to Paris and I started school in Paris to do makeup and I loved it.
but did you have to have done makeup before to get into the school? Were they like, have you
No,
ever?
no, no. You know what? There was a lot of leftover in those beauty school, you know?
Okay,
People, families who didn't know what to do with their daughters and everything. So
got it.
they do nails or things like that. So they didn't give a shit of what they were doing. The parents put them there because there's no issue for them and no future for them.
Right.
So, you see what I mean? Like you can
Yes.
tell. You have the real one and you have the leftover. So I did it and I loved it. I really
Wow.
loved it.
And then after you were done with school, you're like, this is my career. I want to be a
The
makeup
funny thing,
artist.
as you mentioned, in that school, there was also my partner in crime, and she was like a really girl that I really love, and we get along together. So we're like partner in crimes and everything. She was beautiful. She was looking like Lauren Bacall,
Oh, wow.
but really, really. So beauty, I was attracted to her. So every day we had lunch, like, with saucisse frites, at the cafe next to the school. And next to the school, there was the most famous agency at the moment was Marlene Gauthier. And Marlene Gauthier and a colleague were having lunch in the same cafe.
Yeah.
So one day Marlene came to a table and say, "Can you come and see me?" And the next day she was booked to go to Milan to do the shows.
Oh
She
my
became a
God.
model. So that's why when I went back to school, my friend was not there anymore.
Right.
And I realized after 3 months in makeup school, I said, I know what is makeup now.
Right.
I'm ready. And I think that all the courses in the makeup school are updated. They're old. That's
Right.
great. They had like part of cinemas version and things and things. And for me, they were looking like old fashioned. So I went to see the director and I said to her, I have to be honest with you, I think you're very like old fashioned. And I think I know what is makeup. I'm ready to be a makeup artist. How pretentious is that? But
Oh
it was
no,
like
but
deep in
it's,
me.
I mean, you have to be. You knew it.
No, when you realize and you're very conscious, you say, yeah, this is old fashioned, the black and white version, all these fucking tricks for black and
Well,
white
yeah, and
movie.
Stefan, I have to say, like, in a
It's
way, you had to, because if I think about what Orlando said about not being trained, the fact that you left that early, it's
it's
you
just
did
the
it let
person.
you go with what you felt, what your imagination versus knowing the
Exactly.
right
It's all
way.
about my
Yeah.
background. My variation, it was not according to what I really like.
Right.
If I was talking about the smudgy makeup, which just need black pencil, they would have killed me. Okay?
Exactly.
Because there was always a program. You do that way, that way, that way, that way. And maybe I was like a rebel or a pirate or whatever, but I thought it was like old. But she was very nice. I said, okay, try it. So I did try. But I remember Marine Gauthier. And I had to research. I had all the numbers of all the magazines. And there was no cell phone or internet or everything.
I
I had
know.
a book with all the number written down, with the telephone book and everything. I did my own things. And then I went to see her. I said, okay, you took my friend. I'm a young makeup artist. I know you're testing new girls. And I would love to do a free makeup for your testing, but not paid. But I want to print every test I'm doing, just to do a book. And after 10 images, I called all magazine from a book filled with all the numbers. Photographers agent, everything, had everything.
So did you ever do any assisting or no?
No, no. I had icon, had meet people like were very important, and especially Jacques Clément that I replaced on the Marie shoots. Nice, nice man. He, of course, he liked me and he told me some tricks and everything, but I never really assisted him. But it was part of my going on in my history. It was very important for me. And then I met all the crazy bunch of South American makeup artists, very important in the business in the 80s. And especially one, Jose Luis, who was working for Yves Saint Laurent, who created the smoky eyes look, red lips.
Oh.
But they were fun. They were like party people. So I had party with them and say, oh, come, come, come. And I remember one thing is one day I said, oh, maybe you should come visit me at the house of Saint Laurent to see the original cabin to do all the makeup and prepare the girls. So I went there and I was fascinated. This background, like old fashioned signature Yves Saint Laurent. And I see all the girls coming into white blouse, black stocking, small heels, and a bun, like a chignon,
Yeah.
ready to have Mr. Talon calling, come to do the fitting. So
Oh
I
my
saw that.
God.
The funny thing with that, it's years later, Yves Saint Laurent always wanted to work with me, but with the schedule, I couldn't do it because I was doing Chanel at 5 o'clock in the morning for the couture, then run to La Croix Couture, and then it was in between. He did for the Pompidou Center, who was his last show. The closing down of Saint Laurent, Lulu La Falaise called me because I knew her from nightclubs, and she said, no, he insists he wants you. I said, but physically, it's going to be difficult because I have two shows before. And she knew. I said, he doesn't care. Maybe you have your team ready and you come after. It's so important for him. He wants you.
Oh my God.
I went to do the fitting. I've seen all the archives coming from the fridge. From the day one, dear, everything, my sister,
Oh
everything.
my God.
Then went to the famous cabinet. I knew that from before.
Right.
The girls came, the same outfit, white buns, black stockings, and small heels. So I did the makeup test, and then I called Lulu and say, I'm ready. So can I come up to see to Mr. Saint Laurent? So I went up with her, and he looked at the girl, and there was his mom, his dog, and everything in the whole studio. And he turned to me, he took my hand, and said, thank you, sir, to make the wound so beautiful. I went home, I was crying like a kid. Even if I was like 40 or 45, whatever, he made me cry, this man.
Oh my God. That's so incredible. The full circle moment.
Yeah.
I
So these
mean,
people like Jose Luis or Jacques Clement, they introduced me to things, but I never really assisted somebody.
right. Well, when did you move to New York though? So this is all in Paris,
Yeah,
that first shoot and
I think it
everything.
was 86 or something like that.
And
The
was
first time,
yeah.
86, but we were like a bunch of people, like model, like Carla Bruni, Claudia Widrobro. We knew each other. We worked together in Paris. We were young, and it was such an excitement for us, like such an excitement because it was New York, and it was New York from the 80s, 90s, and it was
Yes.
excitement there. It was like for us very magic because New York was fierce, energy, dangerous, but fun, dancing, clubs, and everything, and the work was in the same feeling. Let's do something. I worked with Maisel at that time, and we had fun doing it in a very kind of light way. Who
Right.
I
Well,
had my
everyone was also
girl,
young
the
and coming
girls
up
were, yeah,
together,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. Well,
So you're
sitting.
all together. But
The same generation is a bit older, but I don't care. It's the same
yeah.
generation. It's a period.
So at that time, magazines were really important, right? Because that's kind of like your book. There was no Instagram, obviously, any of
No,
that. So were you into Vogue and kind of looking at who was shooting for who was working?
when you have appetite, okay, America was that time, wow, America. I wanted to go there. And I
Right.
did. I worked, I did my job, mostly with my client from France, not with my agent at that time. But this is a normal things. But being in New York was an excitement. It was a discovery. It was like, okay, I have to start from zero because maybe they have heard about me, but
Oh.
with them, there's people I want to work with, Mr. Pan, Stephen Klein, and I did it.
I mean, that's wild. And just thinking about the culture at the time, I started at Vogue in 1998. And this is the time far before Me Too or anyone was even
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
watching what was happening. And I know what the late 90s were like. But coming to New York and working on these sets, were you prepared?
I love to discover things, new things. And you know what? Also, my life, like, okay, being a kid, 9 months, moved to Africa, you discover and you grew up with a different vision of things, differences of like countryside, of country, of culture. So my mom was very good with that because she really was open minded from a couple, they were like the 40s, 50s. And then she had these things of like no judgment on people,
Mm.
leave the door open to differences. And also, like in Africa, she refused me to the French school. She wanted me to go to the public school, mixed with like local French and everything. She hated that French barrier with the person living in the country they moved in. She wanted me
Mm.
other things. So she was very open minded. And there was a spirit who just conduct me to what I did and my choices and my directions. Oh,
No, that's what I've
okay.
experienced from you, though, on sets, and we'll talk about some of the shoots, but that you are always very calm, almost quiet versus some other artists we know. There was no diva at all, even though you could have been, you know?
But if I play diva, I can play good. Trust me.
I know you
But
would
I love it.
deserve to, but you didn't. I'd see you outside, we'd smoke together, and you were always very just quiet, like there to do the
I'm
job and
stable. I'm stable. So
stable. Exactly. So, with that first big shoot, your story about filling in on a shoot is similar when Orlando's brother called him and he had to fill in with having no brushes or anything. And that one experience launched him going to Paris, and the rest is history. But so that first shoot, you were scared. Like, do you remember that day?
always I've been scared. Always. The first time I went to that shoot to finish a story with Peter, my stomach was torture. Butterfly, you think you're gonna faint and everything. But I'm strong
Right.
and determination. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. And I did it. And it was always like that. Still now I'm nervous. I'm doing like, the show. I'm starting again the show because I stopped because after 35 years I had enough. And the one who chose me is Yoji Yamamoto. The day of the fitting, I still have those butterflies in my stomach. And I think
Wow.
this is the energy brings you to the point because you can't miss it. You have to go to the point. And
Right.
it brings, what, you're nervous for a shoot, and you've been through that, when you're dead as a shoot, and you're nervous, but this will bring you the energy to go to the point and do it good.
Right. And someone said to me, that nervous energy is because you care so much too. It's important, right? So you get that when it's
It, it, it,
something.
it's important for yourself. It's important also for what you have to deliver. I just want them to be happy with what I've done, like the celebrity, the models, the photographer, the editor. And this is an important thing you should never forget.
Well, and then
After a
right from
shoot,
there, yeah, right from there, you ended up booked for that cover, right? The Vogue Germany.
yeah, but it was a test for me. I have no idea how I received that. And I say, of course, immediately in front of Peter Lindbergh, yes, I can do it. Like very convinced I can do it.
Right.
Oh, I was sick, sick, sick. Oh yeah, the first American shoot cover. I was young makeup artist. Had this kind of like a workers case for makeup that you bought at the BHV, like a department store for workers and everything.
Oh my
So
God.
I went there and I was booked to do the collection with Paul and Mellon,
Uh,
but it was Vogue. So
yeah.
I said, yes, I can do it. So I went there and it was all the base was at the Hotel Crillon and makeup had their own suite. Makeup hairdresser had their own suite. Stylists had their own suite into that five-star hotel, like very famous.
Right.
And had all the new girls, like the hit girl of the moment. And I was nervous and I met Polly. And Polly is a film character at that time.
Yes. Yes.
Drama and everything. Plus, I was good at English, but not as fast as she was. And screaming all the time, like, hey, what did you say? What did you say? And then all the girls knew me and they liked me.
Yeah.
Protege and everything. So I said, do you mind if I do your makeup in the toilet on the toilet seat? Because I'm so scared that she came into the last minute in the room to face her. So I was doing the shoot and everything, and she was doing like hysterical things. I want this museum to be open for me. Okay. It was Musée Rodin. And they opened the Musée Rodin on Tuesday for her, just for one shoot. She wanted
Oh my
this
God.
biscuit from this company, La Durée, or whatever. She was screaming her driver to get that now, You know what she was.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
Grace
then
talks about how much of an influence she was on Grace. So now it all makes
and
sense.
one day, I think it was Linda Spearing, was like the beauty Dutch girl, brown hair with the covers of Vogue, and Kim Williams. So I was locked in the toilet room, do the makeup. Suddenly the door opened like very violently. And she took the face of Kim Williams and say, "Look, this is the proof of a new makeup artist. Bravo."
Oh my
Uh,
God.
Kim said, "What did she say? What did she say? Did I do something wrong?" And no, and after she was like, she was in heaven. And for me, I was released for 5 days of stomach ache every morning coming to the shoot because she scared me. She scared,
Oh my.
and it was a success. It was awesome
Wow.
during the whole shoot, but it's moments like that are very precious in
Uh,
my history because
of course.
there was a first things for American Vogue,
Wow.
first thing for American Vogue.
And who was the photographer for that shoot?
Arthur Elbert,
Oh wow. Yeah, because I wanted to talk
a
about some
nice
of
guy.
yeah,
Not
exactly. But I wanted to talk about some of the photographers because obviously the partnership you had with Peter was decades long. But speaking with different artists, whether it's hair or makeup, they talk about how some photographers, I'm just saying this for hair, but some photographers know hair. Some photographers know what hair they like, and then there's photographers who don't know either. Was that something you experienced in makeup too?
the good thing, I think, is mostly a lot of photographers, they know what they want for hair and they almost know not how to, but they have a very specific vision. In makeup, they don't want anything or they want something who bluff their way. Yeah, like really say, wow, the business is
Right.
that at the end. The only people I met in the business who had a point of view on makeup, not photographers, it's Tom Ford. That's with makeup and know what he's talking about. Because, I did like a collection with him and with the video with Nick Knight and everything. He knew exactly how to proceed.
Interesting. It's great to have someone that understands because I think what's so hard for artists, when it goes awry, it's just like when a photographer or even an editor, they're questioning something and they don't understand it, or they're not giving you a minute
Yeah,
to do what you do. And Phyllis told me, that's what she's really learned over the years is patience to let everyone on set
especially in beauty
yes,
for
do
her,
their thing. Yes, do their thing. It might not be exactly what she has in her head, but first of all, let them have the time to do it and
Yeah,
be
yeah.
patient. And most of the time, she says it's better than what she had thought she wanted. When I was talking to Gucci Westman the other day, she was like, yeah, the makeup gets the least amount of time. I guess it
If you're
depends.
tricky, you start to make up before the hair because
Right,
sometimes, it's always a competition, backstage, things like
right.
that. If you're not stupid, you calculate and say, oh, Susan, get the girls right now before the hair, grab her. I have like five hairdressers. I'm not going to mention any name, but few of them, because
Yeah.
we should have like respect to each other because it's a working team. We're there for the same goal to get somebody who's going to attract the designer, who's going to attract the photographers or the editor. It's very important. There's a fight, not good.
Oh, no, for sure. Are there photographers that say, let's start with hair, or is it up to you guys?
Normally, it's like up to us. They want
Yeah.
them to be done quickly. That's it.
And then do you do your makeup mostly in the chair or mostly on set?
I start on chairs, and then at the end for the change, I do on set, and also because it's really ensuring the photographer or the editor to see you working.
Right.
You put your finger on the job, your hands on the job. You're doing it yourself.
Right. Well, some people have talked about, and again, this is kind of referencing hair, but that there are artists who are photographer's artist. Orlando says he is a photographer's artist, where Jimmy Paul says he's an editor's artist, where they will take direction first from the photographer or the editor. Obviously, ideal scenario is you all talk it out and there's a direction. But do you find that you have allegiance to one or the other first?
No, because I think that the important thing is the conversation before.
Right.
Okay, where do we want to go? Where do you want to go? Or and have a resume of like between the editor, the photographers, or the big chief, where to go. But conversation first is important. And then from that, they can change your mind when you present something you just created for them.
Exactly.
They didn't expect that, but okay, that's maybe a way we can go there. If it doesn't work, doesn't matter. As I say, makeup is like you can wash the face in 2 minutes and start all over again, new direction.
Right. It's not
That's
as
safe.
the change is not as
No,
long as with hair, where
but
it's
it's
like,
good to bring also your opinions, your vision, and explain why. You always have to have a story behind what you're going to create.
no, that makes sense completely. And then we did so many shoots together. I was shocked when I was going through looking at all the shoots.
We did, huh?
Yeah, I mean, the 2000s, definitely. I'll just read some of them and then we can talk about a few. Obviously, Marie Antoinette.
Yeah.
Did you have to do that reshoot, by the way, of the cover?
No. They did a reshoot, but they take the first version.
I know.
I've done a lot of reshoots for cover, especially the one on the beach with Annie.
Yes, Tani talked a lot.
Was a shoot, like,
A 9. Tani tells the story
I went
about
back
that.
3 times to do Marion Cotillard, another version, okay? Because of the judge, because of whatever.
I mean, that was
But
crazy.
it's fun, but it's crazy now because all the money spent on that shoot, that cover, is like insane.
No, I know. So let's talk about Marie Antoinette. And I do want to touch on Rihanna's first cover because Tani talks about that. I didn't realize none of the clothes fit. I think I was more relieved that she showed up, but I know Tani had a whole thing there. And then we can talk about Edith Wharton, which is another good one that we did. But with Marie Antoinette, I remember us being there. I can visualize us in the Hall of Mirrors.
It was insane. The background and everything. But the funny thing is, I met Sofia Coppola when I did a shoot, Mario Testino. He shoot her as Maria Callas, or we did a shoot with her, and we came very close in a way. Not that close I'm calling her every day, but she knew me, and I knew her. And then comes this project with Marie Antoinette, and then my place is in Le Marais, like my name. And in Le Marais, there's all building and all the archives, all beautiful places. And there was one thing, it's like the National Archives. There's like rooms where it has been untouched in the 18th century. So you can see all the fabric, the light, everything is untouched. So it's in the real condition. And she wanted to do everything, the test, in that place, 10 minutes walking from my place.
Oh, wow.
So she wanted to do the makeup fitting for Kirsten Dance to find the look, the costume fitting, the light fitting, and everything. It was 2 days. So I did that with her, but I didn't want to do the film. So I put my assistant who was used to do film because I don't like to be trapped into a film situation where I have to go every day from
Yes.
about to 2 o'clock in the morning. I didn't,
Yes.
but so we created things. That's why I did the cover because I created the look for Kirsten Dance from my own.
Right.
And that shoot was like incredible. But as you asked, like an anecdote of this was the end of it. It was like the end of the day, the night was coming, and then in the garden of Versailles, in the field, there was a meeting of black limousine, like a mafia meetings, to took all the celebrities back in Paris in the hotel. And the vision was like so kind of like Marie Antoinette in a new version of these meetings of like gangster, the reunion, going back to their home or hotel and everything. The vision was like so incredible beside the extraordinary like decor of Versailles in the garden at night. It's a vision of those limousines,
Yes.
like 10 of them, 15 of them, black with black people, with black like kind of bodyguard with like sunglasses, almost in the dark. Like it was a vision of a movie.
It was amazing to have gotten all of that. But I remember being in the car with Kirsten. I was sitting in the back seat and she asked to use my brush. And when she brushed her hair, all the hair came out. And she's
Yeah,
like,
because mustache and wigs and everything.
yeah. And we made her dye her hair back right after Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
but
she was right in Spider-Man.
yeah, but that ended up being incredible. And Karen says that the cover shot wasn't even planned, that
No,
Kirsten walked by that wall. Do you remember that?
maybe I was like because it's a big shooting with a lot of people on it.
I know. I know.
But mostly covers or pictures they come like accident. And
Exactly.
you maybe try again and try again and try again, and you go back to the original, the first one, who strikes you.
No,
And
and that's what the photographers say. Usually their best pictures are in those first 2 minutes of the
exactly,
setup.
exactly. And it's for every photographers or everybody, in the business. It's like that.
No, I know. And then with Rihanna, had you worked with Rihanna before that first cover we did?
No, never, never. But a beautiful, beautiful girl, I have to say.
I
Okay.
love that cover. It's my favorite of all of her covers. I don't even know how the red hair came about, to be honest.
It came from the hairdresser.
Oh, was it Orbe? It was
Oh,
Orbe.
eBay, yeah. He's a Latino, so you can understand he has this kind of like, he chose that, and I thought it was so right, and she loved it.
Yeah, and the lips, the color of the hair in her lips.
And you see, the color of the skin is so beautiful. It's like honey. It's a beautiful, beautiful color skin, and the eyes are incredible. And also the shape of her lips. It's very personal. She's unique. But it was always funny because you have to deal with all these people around, the agent, the publicist, and everything. You know what it is. It's your
Yes.
day-to-day routine.
Yes.
And you have to deal with that, and they like me.
These early covers are when, again, we got to use our teams. Later on, the last 5 covers I've done with her have all been her team. And what that also does is it doesn't leave. I mean, Rihanna's a bit different, but it doesn't leave much room for experimentation because the makeup artists work for the talent and they know what the talent likes. So
Yeah,
it's
but
much.
sometimes the funny thing is like when I did this job, she really liked it. It was not easy for Tony because
Right.
she had to fit the clothes and everything, but she did very incredible work on her. But a couple of years later, Dior called me to do the campaign Chateau de Versailles with her. So I had a job, I had to leave the job to go to Versailles. I arrived at Versailles and there was like trailers everywhere and her one. So I meet the agent, the publicist, and say, okay, she's waiting for you to start the makeup for this Dior commercial and everything. I said, but the problem is not the problem. sh- She's tired and she's sleeping. So you have to start the makeup when she's sleeping.
Wait,
My,
what?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And my reaction, I left, left the job and I don't like to do 2 jobs a day and leave a team. And it was with Patrick. They were pissed off, but I'll leave somebody on the shoot. But I don't like this kind of situation, do double booking and same day. But it was Joe. It was like they insisted and she insisted. So, okay, I said to them, to the team of Rihanna, I say, no, 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 no. This is not possible. I'm not going to do it. And I was leaving.
Yeah.
And then 2 seconds after, I said to myself, I think you're doing a big mistake. So I went back to them and say, okay, I will start the makeup when she's sleeping. The trailer. And she was sleeping, laying down. on the sofa in the trailer. And so I did one side of the face.
Was she even laying so her face was
No. And then at one point, she turned the face in her sleep so I could do the other part. And then she wakes up. And I said to her, do you mind if we go to the trailers? I can fix the whole thing before we start shooting. No problem. And I said to her, are you testing me? Or am I wrong or stupid? And she looked at myself like with a tiny corner smile. She was testing me. And then the next day, she just showed me my whole career. She knew everything I've done from day one. She had everything in her computer.
Oh my
And from
God.
that moment, you went on trusting things, but I think she was playing games, but intelligence, you know?
Right.
I almost missed the opportunity because I was living.
Oh my God. That's crazy. I
Yeah.
would just think someone would wake up and be like, rub their eyes, take a big
No. It was acting moment. Cinema.
Oh my, it's cinema.
Exactly. You know, like those Hollywood movie when the actress or the icon actress is waking up from the bed, like fully makeup on for that. Everything is impeccable.
Exactly.
Does it exist in life? No.
Oh my
Just to
God.
look like shit when you wake up.
Well, I love that Rihanna story, and there's a close up of her in it. Obviously, because we didn't have a lot of clothes, Tawny actually told the story that Grace had stolen that dress off of her rack, and then Tawny had to go get it right before the shoot. And thank
This
God.
happened. It happened whole, you know, like this stylist stealing one outfit and everybody
Yeah,
hysterical for a hat
I
or whatever. I
I
want
know.
to have it, you know?
It's too funny. But then the 9 shoot, so which was a disaster. And between talking to Tawny and talking to Karen, I'm getting all these different because I think I really blocked that out. It was originally meant to be in a studio, and Tawny kept saying it should be in the studio. And I think Annie wanted it in the studio, but I believe Anna said it had to be outside. But why we chose the smallest beach in the world, I have no idea. And then trying to get hair and makeup done on 4 different people. In
Why?
that
Why was
one,
for?
we had Penelope, Marianne, Nicole, and Kate Hudson. I'm sure you were down there when Annie wanted Penelope to wear the black corset
Yeah.
and not change into the dress that matched the 3 others.
Yeah.
And the argument ensued, and we had to have Penelope help us. Penelope gets the dress back on, but by this time, the water's coming up. We have,
But I think it was Nicole Kidman who had a problem with the dress because the tide brings the sand and the sand gets stuck into couture from Alexander McQueen.
yes,
Remember that?
yes. And there's videos because we have BTS videos, and you see where the water comes up. And then at that point, it's like, just screw it. Like the sun is setting. We have to get the picture. I mean, how do you deal with that, especially when it's outside 4 people? Any sort of makeup changes is going to have to happen right there because there's the treacherous
But
steps.
there was not many things about doing makeup change and everything. It was like, you know, Annie,
Yeah.
great photographer, but sometimes she can be difficult.
Right.
And sometimes
Yes.
she can have obsession on stylist.
Yes.
You know,
Yes. Yes.
it was a
Yes.
nightmare for Tony. I was there, so I could
Yeah.
see. You know, and Tony was pissed off, which is normal. But at the end, it was after the drama, the sign in the dress of Nicole Kidman, and the things. You know, when everything goes wrong, it goes wrong until the end. But he had to come back to New York to reshoot another version with Marion Cotillard. I don't know
Yes.
why.
Yes. We had to do her. I don't know why either,
Or
but
twice. I think twice.
Well, definitely once. I thought there was another one of them we had to reshoot. I think it was Kate Hudson, no, that we had to reshoot in the studio too. I think it was
Probably.
those two. Or Penelope. We definitely had to shoot Marion again and put her in post, and another one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, that was crazy. That was nuts. And I was so proud of getting all of them together. And then now I can't even stand looking at that cover. I'm just like, ugh.
Because now it would be impossible.
Oh, totally impossible. But I do love the Edith Wharton shoot, which was a crazy casting, but it was brilliant. Do you remember anything from that shoot?
I just remember it was a beautiful shoot, and I think Natalia was perfect in that role because she had this presence, Natalia. She had this kind of dramatic Russian roots in her.
Yes.
So she can make it more like romantic, more kind of extreme in expression and everything. And it was perfect for Annie. Annie was moved by Natalia.
It was an incredible shoot. That felt like a movie. It felt like we were each.
And it was funny
Yeah.
on that shoot because, you know, at the end I was like to have fun and sometimes be a kid, like Google and love and nothing. And Annie get pissed off with me for the first time. She looked at me when she was shooting and I don't know why, saying a joke or everything, and I was laughing. I said, is there somebody interested in that shooting right now? Looking at me. So I freeze for the rest of the shooting. Don't think got me at the right moment. So it was fun for me. I remember that, but at the end, well, and it was very a beautiful shooting, I have to say, yeah.
No, it wasn't. Do you remember the Gwyneth Paltrow Stephen Klein shoot? The Iron
I
Man?
do, but you know, sometimes you have to deal with not good communication between the photographer or the envy or the stylist or whatever.
Yeah.
If I have to say, to be honest, she was not in a good mood and willing to do it.
No, I know.
It happened. It
It
happened.
happens. Yeah, it happens. And I remember having to order some bags from Valentino because my friend did PR for them just to buy some time because I have a clear picture of that studio where Gwyneth was sitting and how many times she'd call me over to ask, when are we going to
But
start?
that's why I think the outfit was like not easy, uncomfortable, painful way.
Yeah. Yeah. It was crazy. And then with the Reese Witherspoon Water for Elephants,
Yeah.
was there something that happened there?
You wanted to go to the episode was really
Well, I don't even know what happened with that.
no. Sometimes you have to, as I say, I'm flexible, stable.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to deal with publicist, agent, and everything.
Yeah.
And it's two different worlds. They don't get it. You
No,
know?
they don't. No, I was actually
And Julia
surprised that
is
we
hard
had you
work.
guys. Yeah.
He had a vision, and I respect that, and I really love Julien, and I respect for what he have done and what he brings, like mostly everybody in the business. So it's just a miscommunication with the people around.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to be
That's-
talking to
that's
him.
I could gear with somebody strong, like an actress, a celebrities, but I like that because I can also give my point of view, but in a nice way. But firm.
Right. Right.
And when we agree, when you have to deal with other people around, it's always more difficult.
No,
And
I
you
know.
what it is because you have to deal with them, you know?
Right. And I think for you too, you've talked about it, that you can say to an actress, let me just show you on an eye what it would look like. If you don't like it, we can take it off.
Take it
But
off.
hair, you don't have that ability. You can't wet it and then dry it that quickly and vice versa. So once you start products and all of that, undoing it is going to be much harder. And like stylists, I mean, my friend Dina Giannini, she does editorial to be able to have these beautiful pictures for herself. She's not doing it so that she's going to be doing bad work that she doesn't want to do, you know. So I think when you go on a shoot, that's the reason why everyone does editorial too, to be able to do something that you're proud of. And when you're not able to do that, it must be really frustrating.
It is frustrating.
Yeah.
But, no.
Are there any celebrities that are your favorites? Before we go to looking back, are there any
Uh,
favorite faces?
you know what? I'm gonna go to a little episode, which is not concerning Vogue. It's a shoot I've done with my work with Carly. I've done for years, and then we did that shoot in LA. We all moved like a band, like shooting celebrities for breakfast in their home. And one thing, Carl told me, I would love to shoot Faye Dunaway, Miss Faye Dunaway.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. My favorite, when I was young, there was this channel in France on TV doing old movies or iconic movies, and there was one that Jay Strasberg did of her called Down Loud on the Childhood or Lost Childhood. Do you remember that? The story of a young girl approached by a young photographer, became a top model, and the end of it. Remember that?
Yes. Yes, of course.
And the name came, and I said to Carl, "Oh, no, 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 no. This is iconic for me. I want to meet her, whatever she looks like, all the things she have done on her face. But she's a strong one. I'm excited to do her." So we did that shooting. So she came in. She wanted like a suite in a hotel, not in a home. And she wanted the whole Dolce Gabbana collection in black, only in black. She arrived, the shooting. It was like a movie starting. She had a Burberry trench coat vintage with a waist like really tight. She had the hardest hot rollers on with a big on top handkerchief of Hermes and huge sunglasses. She like theater coming. Here she comes.
Right.
She said to us, "Okay, I have to do maybe I have cancer, I have to do an exam in 20 minutes. So you only have 20 minutes to shoot."
Oh.
So Carl was kind of on the way to arrive. So she said to all the people, say, "Let me see the styling." So I could hear from the room was styling. She ordered the whole collection of Scapada in black, screaming, "Why is there everything is so black?" Carl came in and he was like wearing Joe by Eddie Sliman, very thin one, he was very skinny, in red. So he jumped on her and say, "Miss Fane, I think red should be good on you," with my jacket. Say, "Ah, you're right." And then he introduced me to her to me. So say, "This is my makeup artist, Stéphane Marais." She looked at me and say, "Okay, young boy, don't try to sell your own shit with me. Get out of the room." So I get out. She called me 5 minutes later. She arrived with that Mary Poppins bag, all grandmother bags, with her own makeup in Ziploc, like all different shade of concealer, but pieces like dusty. All the eyeliner, individual eyeliner in Ziploc, dirty, and a big Venetian mirror. So she sat down and she looked at me and said, "Okay, young man, you know what? I always come to the studio with my own base, like Hollywood." She said to me, "Can you have a look at it and say if you can update it?" And say, "Okay, you want to play that game?" You know, Studio Hollywood. So I look at it and I was like bullshitting her, saying, maybe there's something I can do with your base. And I did bullshit. She said, "Give me my mirror." She took the mirror, the big Venetian mirror from her old, like, Mary Poppins bag. And she looked at me and said, "Oh, young man, it seems that you know what you're doing." So I did the makeup and she just made my day.
Oh
Made
my
my-
God.
And then when she left, she was happy about the shooting. So she left and I said to her, say, "Miss Dunaway, it was like a real dream of my life to work with you because I'm such a big fan. But there's one thing, never, ever call me Christina, please." So she looked at me and say, "Oh, plus a young Frenchman have a sense of humor. I like it." For this moment like that, it could happen in business. You have the guts to, and for me, I just go for it. I love that. I love that. Strong.
Yeah. Yes.
And she was looking good. She was happy.
Wow. That is amazing. No, you have to. And Anna is very much like that. If you show any weakness or
Never,
any,
never.
you will be eaten and spit out. Like you have
Be-
to. Yeah.
You'll be smashed from the day one.
Yes. And they test you. You are tested
There's
constantly.
one thing, that maybe the end of the interview, there's one word that I always keep in mind from day one. A no is not an answer for me.
Exactly.
That's why all my things, my beginning, all the magazines say, okay, come back with a new tour sheet and everything. And I did. And I called back and I called back, come back. And one day just open. And the second day too, because it was not an answer for me. No. Determination.
I was going to ask you about your advice to those young artists wanting to break into the
It's-
business. I mean, and the business is much different now. Like, I don't even know what to.
And like
Yeah.
you and I, we know it has changed. And so I think it's more difficult for you. I see all my team and assistant and everything. They struggle. I struggled too at the beginning, but we didn't care about the money. We had no money, but we had fun.
Right.
We were like eating like sandwiches, but we had fun. At least we had a cafe at Cafe Floor, and we had fun. It was nothing was drama or things
Right.
like that. And I had bad episodes with people and everything, but at the end of it, no regrets.
Yeah, and I think it's harder. It's more of a business now, I guess. And maybe it's less about the art. And I feel like there's so many makeup artists that are trying to be celebrities or,
It is because it's like all the things, internet, Instagram, and everything. There's an evolution to that field, but the search of like being famous for me, not interesting. Proud of what I've done and everything, but it's mostly proud that I could have done all this and could have worked with all these people and be part of that, that creation movement and everything. I'm proud of this.
yeah, you should. But what should these young artists do? If you think about how you felt when you were young, where should they put their creative energy? Is it not in this field, or is it thinking about it in a different way?
I think it's a thing of generation now. All this young generation, they're living with internet since the beginning, and Instagram and everything. So just go on and try to find your place there. You grew up with that. We didn't grow up with that.
Right.
We saw the evolution of everything and the venue of like in the fashion business, the freedom of the stylist or designer of houses, and now it's belonging to big group who impose a certain way of functioning and everything. Things have changed. So
No, you're right. You're right. Magazines was the way to get your work out there. Now,
Yep.
if you have a profile of your own, you can get your own work out there
yeah,
that
but you
way.
can get for magazine, but how there's new magazine and everything. They don't have any budget. They don't pay anything. They ask you to pay your trip, your hotel, and everything because they don't pay you anything. So what's the point for me?
No, for sure. I know. I hear you.
It's editorial, but at least you want me. Okay, you have to take care of like.
Yeah, you're not going to go backwards. You know what I
No.
mean? And we were all so lucky to have those years, those first 10 years for me. It was the best of the best on these shoots. And I wish at that time I could have looked around and really appreciated it all. I think I was more stressed.
But you realize afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, you live the moment, and like even now, you live the moment. But you know what? The good thing for me is I do editorial, but less because I've done that for years. I need to be excited for a project, and there's still some people who have project in their head or vision or things like that. So I like to do that. Even young photographers, even young stylists, even designer, because what I'm looking for is excitement.
Excitement and fun.
And
Well,
fun, yeah.
This has been amazing. I'm so thankful to you. But at the end of each episode, I like
Yeah.
to ask my guests the same 7 rapid fire questions. Okay, so it's just this or that. And I have an extra one for you, but I already know the answer to it. So so here we go. AM or PM?
I'm AM and
Te-
PM. I used to be PM.
PM.
Both.
Right. Text or talk?
You get used to the text, but I prefer the talk.
Uber or Subway?
I don't like Uber. Subway should be good unless a taxi driver or driver when you like a lot of equipment on the subway. No way.
Exactly. Book or film? I think I know the answer.
Yeah.
Sweet or spicy?
Spicy.
Spots or stripes?
Yeah, I like spots, dots, all this.
Yeah. Okay, top or bottom?
Are you going like very intimate or what?
No.
That top or bottom?
Well, it's like top or bottom.
Okay. I hear something else.
No, Phil isn't gray, so like top. So here's one for you. Eyes or lips? But now I know.
What do you think?
Eyes. Eyes. Love it. Are you still in New York? Because I'd love to see you sometime.
No, I'm in Paris right now, and it's going to be a situation with you and president and everything. Something is going on. It's not really, for me, attractive at the moment.
No,
But
I know. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to catch up.
if you need something else, you call me.
Yeah.
And
No, this was perfect. This is great.
available for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Not for everybody, you know that.
I know. I
But
appreciate
I'm
you.
a tricky person.
I know. And that's why I like you.
Yeah. It was nice to talk to you. Anyway.
You too.
I
And
have to say, your
Yeah.
makeup, it's a minimum you can do. Not bad. Not bad. Okay. Maybe you should try to find a new position for earphone or something more creative. I don't know. Think about it for the next
Okay.
time.
I will.
A podcast with somebody.
I will.
Do like one moment or whatever.
Yes, I hear you. Okay, well, enjoy your
You
Sunday.
too.
Okay, we'll talk soon. Bye. Okay, that's our show. Thanks for listening to Going Rogue. And be sure to like and subscribe. Today's show is produced by me and Maddie Rosenberg at Radio Free Rhinecliff with assistance from Maddie Kelly. Special thanks to David Vo for our great graphics and Taras Romanov for our epic theme music. See you next Friday.